Did you guys know there was a Zeppelin airship disaster in Redding, California? Let's learn about that. So while cruising through pictures in the Shasta Historical Society website, I came across this picture of the Zeppelin and noticed that in the archived text of the image, it said before the disaster. And I thought, what disaster? So I moseyed on over to the California Digital Newspaper Collection website, and this is what I found. Los Angeles Herald, 4th of July, 1909, gas explosion wrecks airship. Daring aviator is fatally injured. Bag of dirigible is ripped by rear propeller. Explosion occurs 50 feet from the ground. Aeronaut not only severely burned, but terribly injured in fall. Redding, July 3rd. James Moore, a Los Angeles aeronaut and aviator, was so severely burned in an accident to his dirigible while making a flight here this afternoon that no hope is advanced for his recovery. Moore was under contract to make an ascension on each of the 3 days of a celebration here, and had just started his airship upward on the first flight when the propeller blade caught the lower edge of the envelope, ripping it open. The gas poured out and ignited from the engine exhaust. The terrific explosion, which at once occurred frightfully, burned Moore and precipitated him to the ground. He sustained serious injuries through the fall. The force of the explosion was felt by the spectators as the dirigible was less than 50 feet from the ground. Milton Mygat, one of the spectators living at Redding and 82 years old, was thrown down by the explosion, and it is believed that he was fatally injured. His hip was fractured, and he sustained internal injuries from which, because of his advanced age and feeble condition, he will hardly recover. Others were thrown to the ground, and in the rush to get away that followed, several were trampled on, but no others were badly injured. Both Moore and Mygat are in the hospital, and the celebration, which had been planned for 3 days, is abandoned. In addition to his burns, which practically covered his body, Moore fractured his hip, right arm, and sustained a broken pelvis. The hospital surgeon holds out no hope for his recovery. James Moore, who was fatally injured at Redding, lived at 510 South Flower Street, where his wife and 2 children reside. He had made his home in Los Angeles since closing last year's exhibition season with a dirigible flight at Fort Leavenworth, and planned to spend his winters here, making the airship exhibitions during the summer season. His dirigible, which exploded yesterday, was known as the America and was built in spindle shape, somewhat on the lines of that which Nabinshu made his Los Angeles flights. Although smaller, it had a front and rear propeller, and the accident was probably caused by the strain in rising from the ground, throwing the rear propeller up against the end of the envelope, thereby tearing a hole in the silk just where the escaping gas would rush down to the exhaust from the engine. Moore had a thrilling experience with the same dirigible last year at Memphis, Tennessee, when a drunken crowd shot it full of holes. Before making his home in Los Angeles, he had lived in Chicago. Way to go, Memphis, Tennessee. Can't have nothing nice.